I'm particularly excited to introduce our speaker today. Many of you might know Grace already, but for those who don't, Grace is a Commonwealth scholar from Nigeria with an impressive background. She's currently pursuing her Master in Environment, Climate Change and Development at the University of Reading in the United Kingdom. In her previous role, she worked as a program manager at WAAW Foundation, where she was responsible for managing the organization undergraduate scholarship program, the STEM outreach program, and the college secondary mentorship program. And currently, she serves as the Commonwealth Regional Network Coordinator for Scholars in Southeast England. But personally, for me, Grace is more than just an accomplished professional. She's a great mentor that impacted my life a lot. I remember back in 2021 when I was selected for the WAAW Scholarship program. Grace, along with Lucy, helped me a lot and guided me on how to start the chapter at my university and how to organize an outreach program. But unfortunately, due to the political situation in Sudan at that time, including school closure and travel restriction, I wasn't able to pursue those initiatives. Anyway, last year when I was selected for the Fellows Summit in South Africa, another unexpected obstacle arose. The war in Sudan broke just one day before the summit starting day. And my life was completely changed in that time. My education was disrupted and I had to leave my home in Khartoum to relocate to my mother village. So during that challenging time, Grace's support was invaluable. I vividly remember my call with you, Grace, where you helped me to see the auction I have and you helped me to start planning for my future. So within less than 1 month from that call, I received the internship offer from WAAW Foundation program management team. And here I am today, almost 9 months from that call. Here I am today moderating this meeting. For all of you from Malaysia, we'll be starting a new bachelor degree in October. So Grace, words cannot express how grateful I am for your support and your guidance. Thank you for everything you have done and continue to do. And today I know you have some fantastic time management tips to share with us, and I'm sure everyone will benefit from your insights. So without further ado, let's hand over to you, Grace, to begin the session.
Thank you, Shad. Thank you so much, Paul. Those words are actually touching. Well, thank you for the appreciation. Yeah, and I do remember that wonderful call I had with you. Well, thanks again for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to speak to WAAW Fellows. And it's always a moment to recount, my journey through from being a WAAW scholar to joining WAAW Foundation as a staff, an intern, and then mentoring other chapter leaders and scholars. So it's really a pleasure to be here speaking with you guys. Well, I must say that I am not a professional in time management skills or principles, but I'm excited to share a few tips that I find that has helped me. Yeah, so I'm excited to share with you today. And Shad, if you could just start sharing the slides. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so today I'll be speaking. And it's important to know that time management is a very crucial aspect of our lives. In fact, it's a lifelong skill, and there's really nobody who is perfect in managing and acting that time and being 100% efficient. But time management is being able to manage and strategize. Strategize your tasks, focus on high value tasks to be able to achieve the best within the time that you have. So time management is effective all through the 24 hours in a day, but being able to set targets and actually meet the targets within the time that you have. So without further ado, we'll just get started. But before I get started, can I have the next slide? Okay, yeah, I just explained what time management is and making the best use of your time, to enable you work smarter and not harder. So this is basically time management in a nutshell. So I'll just like to ask the fellows on the call, like, what are your time management challenges? Or what are your time management challenges? Like, when you think of time management, what challenges comes to your mind, or what are the problems that you encounter in managing your time? So if you could just drop that on the chat, you can also unmute yourself and respond. We'll try to make it as interactive as. So when it comes to managing your time, what are the biggest challenges that you face? Is it a problem of focusing on the task, or I'll just like to know, like, what are the general problems or challenges that you encounter with time management? So you can just put it on the chat, or you can actually just unmute yourself and speak. What are your challenges you face when it comes to time management? Okay, staying faithful to the to-do list. Okay, yeah, that's a valid one. Staying faithful is okay. Okay, we can just have the next slide while people are responding on the chat. So I'll just keep an eye on the chat, and we'll just. So if time management was not a huge challenge, there wouldn't be people who have invested their time in writing books, or having courses on time management. So there are principles which have been proven principles, that you can employ in managing your time. And I'm just going to go through the time management principles. And the idea behind these principles is you must not implement every single one of these principles. You just have to find what works for you best. And surprisingly, these are principles that you are already implementing in your life. You're delegating time to someone just posted on the chat. Okay, delegating time to specific tasks. Thank you. So these principles are things might have even been practicing in your life on your day-to-day, but you are not just conscious that this is actually what I'm doing. So today you're going to be, intentional about employing these principles rather. So the first time management principle I'm going to talk about is the Pomodoro technique. And the Pomodoro technique was developed by Francesco, like one of these psychologists. And it's a time management principles that basically breaks your work into intervals. So this technique implies that you work in intervals of 25 minutes. So when you have a task to accomplish, you just first 25 minutes to start working on them. And then after 25 minutes, you can take a 5 minutes break. And then you do this in intervals of 25 minutes until probably in a 1 hour time. You can take a longer break of 15 minutes to 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. So that's basically the Pomodoro technique, working in time intervals of 25 minutes. Personally, for me, I find that this technique is not very effective for me. For example, when I'm studying, or when I need maximum concentration on a task that I'm working on. So working in intervals of 25 minutes might be a bit tricky for me, because every 5 minutes you're going to take a break, and it's a lot of distractions. So I apply these principles when I'm working on probably admin tasks, emails, or checking inbox, doing some of these tasks that doesn't require like a full focus or attention. So that's the first technique. And then there's the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 principle. So this suggests that the 80% of your result or productivity comes from 20% of effort. So this is just like telling you, if you can just put 20% of effort, you're close to 80% of results, depending on what you're working on. And this principle can be applied in various aspects. You can apply it in your studies, in professional or personal life to, improve your productivity. So by just setting your mind, okay, if I can put at least 20% effort, I can achieve at least 80% productivity. So that's the Pareto principle. And then there's the Eisenhower box, and the Eisenhower box is basically using like a quadrant of a quadrant that it divided into 4 different stages. The tasks that you want to work on, you can actually divide everything into 4 stages. The first stage is the urgent and the importance. So prioritizing tasks that are urgent, that needs your immediate attention, and they are all equally important. And the second quadrant is the important but not urgent. So tasks that, they are important, but they don't require your attention at the immediate moment. And then there is the urgent but not important. And most of the tasks that fall into the urgent and not important are tasks that you can actually delegate to other people to, complete. They don't require you to absolutely complete the task. And then there's the neither urgent nor important. So these are tasks that you should not even pause your attention on. You shouldn't prioritize. So using the Eisenhower box, you'd want to prioritize tasks that are important and urgent. So for example, you as a student, you understand that your academic work is important. You have assignments and you have deadlines to meet, and you understand that this is equally important. So you want to prioritize tasks that fall under the important and urgent. Then tasks that fall under the urgent but not important, like I said earlier, you can always delegate some of these tasks. And someone said in the chat that one of their challenges is delegating time to specific. Oh, sorry, that wasn't it. Okay, yeah, delegating time to specific tasks, organizing the tasks according to the importance, trying to achieve everything at once. So these are basically things that a lot of people struggle with. Even professionals do struggle with time management. When you find yourself in that where your inbox is overflowing, you have 7,000 unread emails, and whenever you open it's just a very scary place to look at. So these are some of the principles that you can apply. And then there's also the time blocking principle. The time blocking principle basically is setting out blocks of time to work on tasks. So for example, you say from 9 a.m. to 11, you're going to be working on this specific task or this assignment or on this, whatever task it is, in blocks of time. So this is like planning your day ahead and, setting out specific time rather, that you specific blocks of time to work. So within this period, there is no distractions. You focus on getting this task done, and this is the only thing you're working on. So I find that time blocking helps. It actually helps me a lot, especially when I need to just focus and get a task. And then setting clear goals. I think I missed one. There's the ABCD principle, and the ABCD principle is as simple as ABCD. It's just categorizing your tasks according to the most important. So the A will be the most important. It's quite similar to the Eisenhower box, which is the 4 quadrants of importance and urgent, important, not urgent, and so on. So that's the ABCD principle. So just categorizing your tasks based on the most important, and then gradually working through from that angle. And I find that this actually helps me a lot. Like when I prioritize my tasks and these are the most important things I need to focus my time on, and then I start working on them. So yeah, let's go to the next slide. Okay, yeah. So I asked on the chat. So if you're just joining, you could just pop it in the chat. What are your time management challenges? What's the most important challenge when it comes to time management for you? And I've just listed like 3 challenges that most people struggle with. And the first one is the pitfall of multitasking. Multitasking. I know whenever you think of multitasking, you think, you're trying to accomplish more than one thing at the same time. And you might think that you're making effective use of your time, but multitasking can actually be counterproductive. So most times when we think we're multitasking, what we're actually doing is we're switching tasks. So you're working on an assignment, and then there's this other thing that you want to do that requires your attention, and then you're just switching from one task to the other. So that's actually switch tasking and not multitasking. The tip that I find that works best for me when it comes to multitasking is so when I want to multitask, I try to multitask with activities that do not require my attention. Like I don't have to, I don't require so much of brain power or attention to get those tasks done. Most coach or leadership coaches or whatever, they call them background. So when it comes to time management, you would want to do more of, for example, you are doing the laundry or you're baking, and then you're doing some other tasks. These are tasks that don't really require your attention. So when your clothes, you're doing your laundry in the machine, or your baking is in the oven and it's doing its thing, and then you're there just reading or reviewing whatever it is. You see, you're not. It doesn't require your full attention. I don't have to sit by the machine to be sure it does my laundry, or sit by the oven to be sure. I just need to check in from time to time. So when it comes to multitasking, you want to multitask with activities that do not require your attention. But whenever you find that you need attention for this, you're working on assignments and you're trying to respond to an email, I need you to think through those processes before completing those tasks. And when you keep going back and forth, you're only losing concentration, and you find out that it takes you longer to accomplish tasks when you're always switching back and forth between tasks. So this is one of the major tricks when it comes to time management. And then distractions can come in different ways. Distractions can come in your mind. When you set your mind to accomplish tasks, the first thing I always do is try to clear my mind, make sure that I have mental clarity, so that I can at least focus. And sometimes I'm working and I just remember, oh, I need to call this person, or I need to do this, I need to send that email, I need to, these are mental distractions. They just keep coming to your mind, and you're like, oh, I need to do this, I do that. So the best thing for you to do, or what I find that works for me best, is I have a notepad by my side. So whenever I'm focused and I'm trying to get a task done, and then a thought comes to my head, I just pen it down. I just write it down. So I take it off my mind, just pen it down there. And so in that way, my mind is not bothered about remembering or trying to, remind me, oh, you need to make that call, you need to send that email. I have it written down on my notes. So once I'm done with what I'm doing, I'll just move over to that. So when it comes to productivity, you would want to remove every distractions. So I might need to turn on my video, my battery is running down so quickly. So when it comes to time management, you'd want to remove every distractions, and the first distraction is always your mind. And secondly, your workspace. So your workspace can be physical, it can be a virtual workspace. Whichever workspace you find you work best in, or whether it's a physical workspace or a virtual workspace, you would want an organized space. Put things in the right order. Now, what I do is before I start a task, I ensure that I have all the tools I require to get that task done. So if I'm working with a headset, if I need a mouse, if I need water, just put everything on your workspace, so you know that you have all the tools that you require, and you're not moving back and forth looking for one thing or the other. So have an organized space. And if it's a digital space, like I mentioned earlier, don't have an inbox that is overflowing. There are lots of emails. You have 7,000 unread emails, and it's just crazy. You're just going to end up being distracted. And it's counterproductive. So have an organized workspace, reduce the chaos, have things in where they should be, arrange your space. And I talked about the mind already. I've talked about the physical space, you arranging your work tools, your digital space, ensuring that you have all the tools that you require. Also, the device you're working with, or the device you're getting job done with. This is also very important. Some people, the device you're working with is, you have a laptop that takes about 30 to 40 minutes to boot before you start, getting your tasks done. If this is the case, that's already a lot of distractions. So imagine you just wake up and, okay, yeah, you have set time to get some tasks done. You've blocked about 2 hours of your time to get this assignment done. And then you sit on your desk ready to work and try to boot your system, and it's taking almost 30 minutes to boot. Now that's a lot of distraction on itself. So you might consider investing in device that will help you become or stay more productive. That's a very important one. Get a working laptop. If you know you're always working with your laptop, get a working laptop that helps you stay, that actually gives you what you need and helps you stay productive. And then the third point is procrastination. I know a lot of us find ourselves there. We're always pushing tasks. So I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next tomorrow. I'll do it, you just keep pushing tasks. Now, the way I see procrastination can both be positive procrastination and negative procrastination. And what do I mean by that? Because when you mention procrastination, everybody knows that, that's a bad word. It's a place where you don't want to find yourself in. Now, sometimes when I find myself procrastinating on tasks, I ask myself, why am I pushing this task? Most times, it's either fear of accomplishing that task or fear of even starting that task. So is it that fear of, fright? You're scared. Maybe it's a huge task that you want to accomplish and you're already thinking about it and you're getting scared. So you just keep pushing. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next tomorrow. And some other times when I find myself procrastinating is either because I think I am not in the best frame of mind to get that task done. So I feel I'll be more productive in a future time to get the task done and to actually deliver a good result. The thing with procrastination is if you find that you're not able to accomplish a task at that moment, the best thing to do is to schedule a time to accomplish it. So even if you're pushing a task forward, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow when? Schedule a specific time to get that task done. So you can say, I'll do it tomorrow at 11. So by saying I'll do it tomorrow at 11, my brain already picks it and say, okay, we have something to do tomorrow at 11. So use procrastination to your advantage. Positive procrastination. Schedule it if you're not able to do it now, because in the real sense, most times you're not in the best frame of mind, or you're not in the best position to get a task done at that moment. So you can, if you're procrastinating or saying I'll do it tomorrow, schedule it. If you're going to do it next week, schedule it, add it on your calendar, put a reminder, and then stay true to it. So put a specific time. I'm going to do it tomorrow at 2. I'll start. You have an essay you want to work on. Maybe you're physically not very well to start working on that essay, and you want to start working on it tomorrow. What time tomorrow? Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going to touch on some other factors that can help improve your overall productivity, because most times we find ourselves in a space where we're feeling overwhelmed. Someone said you have a lot of things to do. Now you need to sit down and say, why do I have a lot of things on my table to do? Most times you don't actually have to do all the tasks yourself. Sometimes you just have to understand that you are a human and there's only so much that you can do by yourself. And then delegate some tasks. Look through your tasks. Are there things that other people can help you get done? For example, you're in the exam period in your school, and there's already so much pressure on you to cover your courses or your modules, and there's so much pressure to read and revise and understand, and the exams are coming close, and so you are already in that state, naturally feeling overwhelmed with all the things you need to do. And sometimes you're writing exams back to back, you're writing like almost every day you have exams. So in situations like this, it would be to your advantage to delegate some tasks. So those tasks that do not require your attention, like I don't absolutely have to do this task. Someone can do this task on my behalf. Some things like maybe doing your laundry, you can outsource those tasks. Doing laundry for you. Maybe if you have the luxury, even cooking. Cooking takes up a lot of our times as students. So there are other ways to go around it. You can get I know there are a lot of people who do food delivery in around. So you can delegate some of these tasks, outsource them if you have the luxury, outsource some of these tasks, and then you find out that you free up a lot of time for yourself to actually concentrate and prepare for whatever it is or get those tasks done. So whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, think of all the things that can be done by someone else. Of course, there are tasks that can only be done by you. Nobody can read for exams for you. You just have to read it yourself. You have to do your assignments. Most of these important tasks, prioritize them. So time management is really about playing to your strengths. Playing to your strengths, prioritizing your tasks, delegating, and then also declining tasks. Yeah, sometimes it's necessary to say no. You can't be saying yes all the time to everything. You can't attend all the parties in school. You, you can't please everybody at the same time. So prioritize and either delegate or decline some tasks for your own mental health. And then I've already explained positive procrastination earlier. If you find that you're not able to accomplish a task at the moment for whatever reason, and you're going to procrastinate on that task, the best thing to do is to schedule a time to accomplish that task. So don't just say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow at what time? And then you put it on your calendar. And then most times you just need to slow down, take some rest, and then, refresh your mind, and then come back and get your tasks done. And changing your work environment. So, for example, if you're working remotely, it can get really overwhelming just being at home and, doing your work at home all the day. And it can really get overwhelming. So from time to time, just step out of your house, maybe go to a work center, and a shared work center, and just do your work from there. As a student, sometimes I find that I am not able to concentrate at home, maybe because of the comfort of your home. So there's a lot of distractions, and just change your work environment. Try other places. You mustn't stick to one particular thing. If you find that the library is not working for you, you're not understanding things, it's just too quiet for you. Change your work environment and, play to your strengths. So try out different things and see what works best for you. Also exercising to keep your body fit. Of course, you have to be in health to be able to produce your best results. So exercising can be as simple as taking walk. Take some walk, rather than catching the bus all the time, and or taking boats or Uber. It's like so much comfort. Try to take some walks. So you can take like 30-minute walks, or like now now we have a lot of apps. Try to track your steps. So use these applications in your favor. Use it to keep yourself fit. Changing your diet as well. So when you're preparing for exams, there are some food that you just need to avoid, or when you want to be productive in the morning. That might not the morning might not be the best time to eat eba and okra soup, or all this heavy, or you eat custard and pap. Those things, or heavy food. Eating this heavy food will only make you feel drowsy, and it's counterproductive. Please don't do that. Understand your body and understand what works for you. So you might want to eat light food and, just take light small portions because you want your body to be active and stay active. Getting enough sleep. Sleep is very important. Sleep is very important. So when your body is at rest, this is when your brain try to accumulate everything that you have read and store it. But if you don't have enough time to sleep, you're working. Please don't work all through the day and all through the night. Don't do that. You would end up you're only going to end up your body will not function perfectly in that state. You need sleep. You need sleep. And sleep at night. If you find that you're more alert at night or you're a night person, you're most productive in the night, then try to find some time to sleep during the day so you can then do your work at night. But if you're a morning person, do your work, get some time, take some time out. There's also the screen time, you don't have to be working and staring at the screen all day. You're just going to damage your eyesight, and this is not good for your health. So try to get enough sleep and allow your body to rest. Then if you find that even after implementing all these strategies and it's still not working for you, you find yourself in a very unproductive stage, then it might be worth seeking professional help. As simple as going to seeing a therapist or even your counselor, your academic advisor, your guidance and counseling unit in your school, or just go to the medical center, try to seek professional help if you find that you're still struggling after taking all the steps. Next slide, please. So, yeah, these are just like my go-to tips when it comes to staying productive and managing my time properly. You need to understand that there's always going to be a lot of activities going on. You're a student, there's a lot going on on campus or in school already, or you are a working class. There's already a lot. There would always be tasks for you to work on or to be done. So you must find effective ways of managing your time and staying healthy, having enough time to enjoy the results of your hard work. So I already explained positive procrastination, free up time and give yourself enough room to work on emergencies and your most valuable activities. So if you find that I'm working on something now and there's another task to be done, I may not be able to give my full attention to that task. And of course, you want to produce a work of good results. So positive procrastination might be a tool to help you stay productive. And then use the calendar, always use the calendar. There's a reason why these tools are there. Use the calendar to schedule tasks, schedule activities, add it on your calendar, set reminders. And then, of course, when the reminder comes, you just have to get up and do it. So you must stay committed to getting it done. And like I mentioned earlier, invest in quality devices. It will surprise you how much you can get done by just having the right tools, having the right devices, having working devices. It would really amaze you how much you can get, how much tax you can get done. Invest in quality devices. This is really important. And depending on the field that you're working on, for example, if you're programming or coding, or you're working with large spreadsheets, and it might be worth getting a larger monitor. So I find that whenever I work with a larger monitor, there's just this speed and productivity about it. There's just this ease of getting things done. So scheduling time for social media. I know social media can be a lot of distraction for us. There's always a notification. It's WhatsApp or Instagram or Facebook, or there's just so much notifications coming to you, push notifications that are just there telling you, look, check, you have a message here, you have to know. So you need to schedule time for social media. Between this time, like I talked about the time blocking principle. working in blocks of time. The first 1 hour or 2 hours, you concentrate tasks, and then you take a break. So the way I also see social media is like a reward. So I tell myself, okay, once I get done with this, I would have 15 minutes to go on Instagram and catch up with all the latest gossips and gist and whatever it is you want to catch up with, or even chatting up friends and just staying. So schedule time for social media and use social media as a reward for getting your tasks done. Focus your action on your strengths. Like I mentioned earlier, time management is about playing to your strengths. Focus on your strengths, and then delegate tasks where you know that this is not really your strengths. You can delegate some of those tasks to people, and always celebrate your success. So when you have a to-do list, when I make to-do list and I start working on my tasks, and for any reason I accomplished a task that was not on my to-do list, I I just quickly write it down on my to-do list and cross it out, because that extra dopamine, I mean, it's really necessary for me. So it gives me this confidence that yes, I'm actually getting my tasks done. Oh, I've been able to cross out 3 tasks, so I'm staying productive. Celebrate your success, and then reward yourself. You can reward yourself with extra minutes on social media or catching up with friends. And there's an acronym, BSOS, Bright and Shiny Object Syndrome. So a lot of people find themselves in this situation. You want to jump on the next shiny thing, like the desire to chase every opportunity. You want to be everywhere. No, you need to keep yourself in check. One thing I always tell myself is I don't have to be everywhere. There will always be a lot of activities going on. There will always be parties. There will always be mentioning. There will always be any activities going on. So you don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to jump on every opportunity. There are loads and loads of opportunities. There are internships that you don't have to be everywhere. So just prioritize your tasks based on what activities matches your goals and your purpose. What activities are closely aligned with your visions. These are activities you want to keep yourself engaged in. And then become tech savvy, because like I mentioned earlier, there are lots of apps that can help you stay productive. There are lots of apps that can save you time rather than trying to get things done manually. Look out for apps. There's always an app for everything. So become tech savvy. Use these tools. Play around with these tools, and try to save yourself time and stay productive. And then Google is your best friend. So why did I put this? Google is your best friend, because sometimes I find that I want to get something done. You might not have a lot of knowledge on it, and then maybe you've spoken to someone to guide you through, teach you through, and then you're waiting on them to put you through this. Whereas you can just save yourself some time and go on Google or YouTube and just learn about this thing. And so rather than depending on people or waiting for someone to teach you whatever it is, you can just Google it or go on YouTube and save yourself time. Next slide. Okay, I think this should be the last slide. So yeah, these are just like extra tips. Always have your calendar, schedule your activities on your calendar, schedule time to work on it, and follow through it. That there are no two ways about it. You just have to stay committed to it. And one thing I always tell myself is, what kind of person do you want to be, or do you want people to see you as? If you're the type that never gets anything done, you just keep saying, "Oh, I'll do it. They're like, "Oh, I'll send it. I'll send it." I'll do it. You don't want to be that kind of person. So stay committed to it, follow through, and do it. And improving your workspace to become more productive. I've mentioned that before. Putting less strain on your mind and on your body. What kind of space are you working in? Do you have a good seat? Do you have a good seat to maintain a good posture, or a good sitting position? Yeah. So improving your workspace. Invest in your workspace. I'll tell you, invest in your workspace. It will pay off in the long run. Invest in good devices, have the right tools, become tech savvy, use apps to get things done quickly and fast, and take regular breaks. This is very important. Take time off the screen, take time to rest your eyes, rest your body, rest your mind. Just, in fact, you can actually schedule time to do nothing. You know, now you've had blocks of time when you're focusing tasks or completing an assignment. Now also schedule time for yourself. I have times that I call, this is me time. I have times that I call me time. It's time for myself. I'm just there. I can decide what I want to do with my me time, whether I'm catching up with friends or I'm just sitting and reflecting. You know, I have reflective moments. What have I accomplished today? What have I accomplished this week? How can I strategize to be better? Yeah. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so this is a quote that your success is not dependent on the amount of activities you are performing, but on what you are achieving with the time that you have. It's not about how many, oh, you did 20 things today, 20 activities, you watched, you cooked. It's most times it's about what are you achieving with this time, you know? How much results have you been able to produce, and what is the quality of results that you've been able to produce? And how much free time do you have to actually enjoy the results? Some people work so hard that you don't even have any time to enjoy your hard work. You don't have any time for family. You don't have any time for your friends. This is not a good place to be. So it's not in the number of activities, not in the amount of activities, but in how productive you are, or how productive you have been. Next slide, please. Okay, yeah, so that's it. Thank you very much. And then I put some resources there. If you apply some of these principles and you find that you're still struggling with you're still struggling to stay on top of your tasks, then it might be worth investing your time in reading books that can inspire or motivate you. So books like Eat That Frog, books like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You can also take LinkedIn courses on time management. Go on YouTube. There are lots of resources to help you. You just have to explore, you know, and find what works best for you. Thank you very much. So I'll take your questions now. And I hope I've been able to answer some of the questions in the chat. Oh, well, some of the comments in the chat, trying to achieve everything at once. That's basically switch taxing. So try to prioritize your tax and focus on the most important things and the most valuable activities. I've touched on organizing the tasks according to their importance. Use the Eisenhower box with the 4 quadrants to organize your tasks according, and then staying faithful to the to-do list. Yeah. All right. Yeah. If you have any questions, you can just ask. So, okay, someone said I have a question about situations when you have 2 or 3 tasks important and urgent, and leaving one of them could really affect your life somehow. How can we act in this? How we act in these ones? Okay, time. When you have 2 or 3 tasks that are important and urgent, again, prioritize these tasks. They are important and urgent. Prioritize it. Or you look at these tasks. Can I delegate these tasks to anyone? Is there anyone that can get these tasks done on my behalf? Because you can only work on one thing at a time. Whenever you try to switch tasks, your attention is just swimming. You're just moving from one task to the other. You're not really being productive. So you don't find yourself in that place where you're switching tasks. So if you have tasks that are important and urgent, I would say still prioritize it. What are the most valuable activities among these tasks? and try to focus on them, or you use time blocking. So yeah, use time blocking to, work on them. So schedule time, 1 hour or 2 hours, depending on what kind of tasks, depending on the nature of the tasks. Schedule time to work on them. And yeah, that's what I would say. Any other questions or confusion or have I been able to answer
If
your
anyone
question?
if anyone has any question, please either mute yourself or type it in the chat.
All right. I think that's it for me, Shad.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Grace. So I think what really brought this topic, why we actually wanted this was because many of our fellows were actually, not many, so quite a number of them were struggling with academics and going for outreaches, just life itself. So my own question would be, how did they avoid the pitfall of being overwhelmed?
Oh, okay. How do you avoid the pitfall of being overwhelmed with tasks? Like I said, focusing on your most valuable activities. In as much as your academics is important, you would also want to gain valuable experience. You'd want to give back to your community as a fellow. You want to mentor other girls. So you have to actually schedule time for all these activities. Good enough. STEM outreach is not like a weekly activity. It's not like, an everyday activity. So if you're able to prioritize very well, you'd actually have enough time to plan ahead for outreaches and while still completing your academic work. So it's all about planning. It's all about planning. And then again, delegating tasks. Don't try to do everything by yourself as a fellow. Don't try to do everything by yourself. Within your STEM chapter, delegate tasks. Delegate tasks to people who would look out for schools where you can have outreaches. Delegate tasks to people who can write to these schools, people who can source for materials or teaching contents for the students. So you get overwhelmed when you're trying to do everything by yourself as a fellow. You're the one looking for schools. You're the one writing to the school. This is when you start finding that you are feeling overwhelmed or getting overwhelmed. So try to delegate tasks and plan. Good planning can help you stay on top of your tasks. I would use myself as an example. I'm a student. I'm a full-time student. I'm volunteering as a regional coordinator for scholars in my region, and I have to organize events, workshops, networking opportunities for scholars. I'm working part-time. I'm doing an internship. So one would think, this is a lot. Like, how are you even able to do this? But by planning my activities, planning my day-to-day activities, planning my academic activities, because I want to stay productive in all these things, in all these areas that are in all these positions or delegations. So I need to plan when I'm going to have my regional event. My work schedule, ensure that activities are not cramped up, ensure that I have some time for myself, ensure that I have time to catch. Good planning, I would say, would help you stay on top of all your tasks and activities. And then when it gets to points where I have to delegate tasks, I don't have to do everything myself. I know that my academic work, it's all is on me. I can't delegate tasks regarding my academics. My job, I can't delegate tasks regarding my job. But when it comes to regional events, I actually delegate tasks. I have university reps that I work with. So I can assign tasks to people. You do this, you do that, so all the burden is not on me. So I would say by using this principle as well, you can stay productive and be able to achieve your responsibilities. So delegate tasks. Don't try to do everything yourself. Good planning. Plan ahead of time. If you want to have an outreach next month, start planning ahead. Reach out to the school so you're not under pressure, to perform. So
continue.
Yeah. Okay. With these few points of mine.
No, not few points yet.
I hope I've been giving
I really like the fact that you use your life and what you're going through. And I'm sure many of them, so at least it's relatable, because like you cannot understand, you can't understand now. You're seeing someone that is doing it and doing it well. So Saja, she answered a question, said, I'm looking at the chat. You have 2 or 3 tasks that are important and urgent.
Yeah, I think I said that earlier.
Okay. So I think that's all for me. Thank you very much. I'm really glad, learned a lot. As in how learned different types of time management, not to know effective one. I read 7 Habits, very good book, effective, and either from Brian Tracy. They're good books to read. So another question. Oh, what about sudden events? Interesting.
Sudden events. Sudden events can be anything. Sudden events can be events that are not really important. Yeah, they are sudden. Are they really important? Do you absolutely have to be there? If there are emergencies, if they are important and urgent, then prioritize it. Start doing it. But if it's not really important and it's urgent, then you can, like I said before, you don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to do everything. Trying to do everything at the same time will only get you overwhelmed and unproductive. So you need to understand, what kind of sudden event is this? Is it an important and urgent one? Or is it an important, but okay, yeah, it's sudden, so it's urgent. So is it not important, but urgent? So again, prioritize the events or the tasks, and ask yourself if you absolutely have to be there. If you don't have to, then please decline. Like I said earlier, delegate or decline. It's you just have to say no sometimes. Or can someone get this sudden task or sudden events done on your behalf? So yeah.
Sure. It's okay to say no. And it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
A lot from you.
Yeah. It's very okay to say, please prioritize your mental health. You're becoming overwhelming, and say no.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. These few points of yours, so now you can say that.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I wasn't able to turn on my video earlier. Thanks. It was really awesome speaking to you, and I hope you've been able to learn 1 or 2 things. Also hope that you would get up and apply some of these principles and stay or become more productive.
We will. Thank you so much. Thank you. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Shad, is there anything?
Yeah, I just wanna thank Grace for sharing these fantastic time management tips with us. And definitely I'm gonna share the recording and the presentation with everyone, inshallah. Thank you, Grace. And thank you everyone for joining the meeting, and have a productive week ahead.
Thank you. Bye. Bye everyone.
Bye bye.